All right, I'd like to welcome you to this edition of EMU Today TV. And our last one for this particular academic year. Can you believe it? Time just flies. And we always like to feature outstanding graduates from Eastern Michigan University. And this show is no different. My name is Mark S. Lee, and I am your host. And this is our final episode for the sixth edition, the sixth season, I should say, sixth season. That's hard to believe. Our first guest is Morgan Iverson, and she's a software engineer at VMWare in now Palo Alto, California. And she has a BS in computer science and graduated in 2022. Morgan, thanks for joining me. It's so nice to have you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to chatting with you.
Absolutely looking forward to having you. So, kind of again, let's start the very basics. Let's start with Morgan. I mean, where are you from, and what brought you to Eastern Michigan University?
Yeah, so I'm from Gwinnett County, Georgia, and I came to Eastern actually on a track scholarship. I came running the 400-meter hurdles, and my coaches got me into the pentathlon and the 100-meter hurdles as well.
So obviously, you and I were chatting. I ran track at EMU, and clearly, I'm sure you're much better than I ever was. And did you have a lot of success running track at Eastern? Did you have a lot of fun?
Oh, I had a ton of fun. My freshman year was amazing. I actually got second in the pentathlon for the Mid-American Conference Indoor Championships. And due to that performance, I also got Freshman Field Performer of the Year. And then I think the following year, we won a MAC championship, which was super exciting. Really proud of some of my old teammates. They actually, both on the men's and the women's side, won indoor championships about 2 weeks ago. Super exciting.
That's outstanding. Congratulations to the track teams. Always had an outstanding track program at EMU. Let's kind of shift gears into your career, your academic career, and how it prepared you. Talk about how Eastern prepared you for your current role at VMware.
Yeah, so I came in wanting to major in computer science primarily, but I came in with some extra math credits from high school. So I actually ended up double majoring in computer science and math, which was really exciting because I liked both. And I definitely feel like that prepared me. I mean, I was taking loads and loads of classes at a higher level. I was pretty much a year ahead. So my freshman year, I was taking classes with sophomores, and my senior year, I was taking some graduate level math classes. So that was really cool, a really awesome challenge. And what I said before was being involved really, really helped me prepare. Obviously, being a student athlete, that takes a lot of time management as it is, but I was also involved with a few other campus organizations, Athletes in Action, Women in Computer Science, were the two main organizations that I contributed to, where I was on the e-board. So my senior year, I was having weekly meetings with them, planning virtual events, planning some in-person events. So I was always busy, but I was always busy doing stuff I enjoyed. I didn't sign up for anything that I didn't want to do, but being busy definitely made transitioning to this full-time role a lot easier because I honestly feel like I do less now than I did when I was in college.
Wow, okay. That's interesting. And we have a lot of students, excuse me, we know that people will be graduating next month, for example, and they're looking for jobs. And you were very much engaged in the university community. Talk about the power of the network and how that prepared you in terms of looking for a job and eventually getting a job. So talk about that process of networking
Mhm.
with people and how that helped you to certainly get to the next level.
Yeah. So I was going to career and internship fairs, I think, since my sophomore year. I literally had an early track practice one day so I could go to the fair and just see what it's like. I didn't plan on doing an internship, but I wanted to be prepared for what I was going to see the following years. The biggest resource for me was Handshake and LinkedIn.
Mm.
Those two paired together. You get a lot of messages from recruiters and Handshake, and when I first saw them, I was like, oh, these are kind of just like spam, they're just sending out stuff to everybody. But I actually got my job at VMware from a message through Handshake. The interview process was very long. I think I got my first message in September of my senior year, and I got my offer in November, but obviously it was very much worth it. And then LinkedIn was the primary resource in getting my internship with AT&T my junior year summer. Just leveraging like people who are in your network. I talked to so many people who I've never seen face to face. I've never worked at the same company, who helped me make my decision to come to VMware versus going to other companies or joining with AT&T or not.
I love the fact that you're talking about Handshake and LinkedIn. I tell my students all the time that if you're not engaged in some type of social media platform like that, you should certainly be engaged. I think the power of the network is meeting people and talking to people, and it's okay to approach people and establish relationships with them. And I think you're a great example of that, being a student athlete at EMU and then using your other platforms to get you out there. And I love the connectivity that you said that, hey, you don't feel as busy now as you're working full time as when you were a student at EMU. Let's talk about your role as a software engineer. Exactly what do you do? What does that mean? And what do you do for the organization?
So I am a back-end engineer. I spend the majority of my day coding in Java, one of the most popular coding languages. It's also Eastern's feature language. So all the computer science students will learn Java in 100 through the 300 level class. I work on a app called Workspace ONE. My team is called Workspace ONE App Services. And we make the features. Right now, one thing we're working on is preventing people who are not clocked in from accessing company resources. And it's super cool how it works. I think it helps promote work-life balance, but the big theme of the app is remote work, facilitating remote work. I work completely from home. I go into the office every once in a while. And my company, we actually use Workspace ONE every single day. And I just help make it better. I also work with our employee resource group called Black at VMware, and I've been able to get involved with some awesome stuff there. I traveled to Howard University back in the fall to put on a development workshop just to help get the company name out there and introduce some HBU students to VMware itself. And we have some more stuff coming up this year that I'm excited to work on as well.
I mean, again, I think that's awesome. I like the fact we have this conversation. You're certainly a recent graduate within the last couple of years. And I'm so glad to see that you're getting re-engaged with other college students, because I think it's important for other college students to see people like us and to see people within that age group as well. They can relate to you and your experiences in college. Talk about when you've gone back to the Howard Universities of the world and the other institutions that you're talking to, how those students relate to you and what types of questions do they ask of you as a recent graduate?
I love going back because I feel like I've had such a blessed experience. I got to where I was by taking advantage of my advisors, my parents, my cousins, and anybody they told me to talk to. So I just kind of want to be a resource for other students if they have questions. Every time I tell my peers back at EMU, use Handshake, use LinkedIn. It's all real. It is scary, but everyone I've told to use LinkedIn has only had amazing benefits. My old roommate actually got to sit and talk to someone in her role in the WNBA one time. Another friend of mine got to have a Zoom call with somebody who worked at his dream company just from sending messages on LinkedIn or Instagram or Handshake. Most of the questions are asked are how do I get where you are? And like I said, I tell them LinkedIn. I remember a student at Howard wanted me to make sure I let them know what opportunities we had coming up for new grads. And so I said, hey, connect with me on LinkedIn, send me a message, and I'll make sure I let you know as soon as I find something come up. Because I live on the other side of the country, so it'll be a little harder for me to catch up with you without some kind of social media.
That's great advice. And one other piece of advice I would give for those of you tuning in, particularly our students as well. Hey, don't forget to leverage your professors and your instructors. Those are people, one of the beauties of Eastern is that we have a lot of people who work they have a lot of practical experience. Many are still working in the workforce as in the corporate space. They have good connections. Don't forget about that network. They're not just teaching you. I can tell you from personal experience, we want you to be successful. We think it's very important for you to be successful. As we begin to wrap up shortly, I just want to ask you, talk to other students of color who might have an interest in getting an engineering degree. What advice and counsel would you share to those individuals who want to be like you, so to speak?
I want to say just go for it. If it's something you enjoy, go for it, enjoy it, put as much effort as you're able to put into it. Um, it's real. You know, I am the only Black woman on my team. But every company is working to improve diversity. And as soon as you find your company, get involved with your employee resource group, whatever that may be, whether it's Black, whether it's Asians, whether it's women, whether it's the Pride organization. Get involved with your employee resource group because that has drastically made a difference in my experience joining the company and also given me so many more opportunities to network.
Have you had the opportunity of, since you joined the workforce in Palo Alto, California, VMWare, right? Have you had the opportunity of establishing a mentor relationship or a sponsor relationship? If you had, talk about that briefly.
I've been learning a lot about the differences between mentorship and sponsorship. I did participate for a little bit in a reverse mentorship where I was the mentor and the other person was the mentee, but they actually had a higher role. I think it was directors and above. And that is most often for the sake of diversity and sharing our experiences. That was really cool. And I've been chatting with a few people who serve as mentors, but I haven't started anything official. I definitely need to get on that. The longer I've been at the company, I'm constantly meeting more people. And those mentorship, sponsorship are the number 1 and 2 things that we hear about how to get to the next level in our roles.
I gotta tell you, you're very impressive. One of the things that I'm proud of is when we have these conversations with our alums to get a sense for what they're doing postgraduate. And you make me proud as someone who's been engaged in this university for a long time that you are a shining light and you're a beacon for us as an organization, as a university. And although that you're in California, you got to say you really miss this wonderful Michigan weather, don't you?
No, I cannot say that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you won't come back and pay us a visit for homecoming.
Well, I did come back last year. We'll see what happens this upcoming year.
Well, Morgan Iverson, I want to wish you much continued success. Keep doing what you're doing and keep reaching back and helping others. We're so very proud of you here at Eastern Michigan University. Thank you very much for joining us.
No problem.
And as we segue, we're going to show you a video from a recent graduation. We know that graduation is upcoming in the next couple of months. So sit back and enjoy this video. And on the other side, we're going to continue the conversation with another EMU alum, EMU Today TV.
Being an Eastern Michigan grad means to me just doing the job that I absolutely love, that I've dreamed of since I was little.
To me, it means bettering my future, which was the whole goal of being here.
We are proud of Eastern's foundation as an institution of opportunity, and that is more important than ever as we think of today's complex society and the societies around the world.
My favorite thing about Eastern Michigan University, I would say all of the instructors that I encountered, they were all very, very nice, very helpful, very encouraging. They did everything that they could to help me and my peers, and that's why we're all here today.
Eastern Michigan has changed me by helping me become the person I'm supposed to be.
And now let me close by offering my congratulations to all of you on this great day of transition. A great adventure awaits you.
Eastern Michigan will continue to do as it always has done, doing up and doing every day. Thank you.
It is time for you, those of you who have not done this from prior graduations, please take your time.
All right, welcome back to EMU Today TV. Again, my name is Mark Lee, and I'm your host. I hope you had a chance to enjoy that video. Yes, by the way, I want to give a early congratulations to our upcoming graduates who will be graduating in April and, of course, in the summertime and next fall. But we're focusing on this particular semester. Congratulations, job well done, and know that we're all very proud of you. I'm so pleased to welcome our very next guest, who's also a graduate of Eastern Michigan University from 2014, Ms. Courtney Smith, and she's the president and CEO of the Detroit Phoenix Center, and she has a BA in sociology in 2014. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
It's an honor to have you. We're very proud of all the great things that you're doing. As we get started, give us a brief overview of your background. Who's Courtney Smith?
Yes, that is a loaded question, Mark. I am a native Detroiter. I am the self-proclaimed favorite and best aunt in the whole wide world. I am a foodie. I love to read. I love to write. I am a graduate, a proud alumni of Eastern Michigan University, where I currently serve on the Alumni Association Board of Directors. And I am also the CEO of the Detroit Phoenix Center, a nonprofit organization that provides critical resources, support, in a safe, nurturing environment to youth and young adults that are experiencing housing or home instability or may be at risk of such situations. And all around, I just consider myself a servant leader, someone who is fun-loving and just enjoys doing good work.
All right. But you know, you're from Detroit.
Yes.
I'm from Detroit. So you know the first question is, west side or east side? Which side of town?
Oh, so I am from the west side of Detroit, but I also lived in Southwest for a little bit. So, but native to the west side. And shout out to the Detroiters.
I'm west side as well. So for those of you tuning in, there are two questions that Detroiters always ask when they first connect, even if they're across the country in other cities. It's always, what side of town are you from, and what high school did you go to? All right,
I graduated. I graduated from Detroit School of Arts.
All right. Those are two questions. All right, let's get back to the conversation. Let's talk about going to Eastern Michigan. Talk about your decision to go to Eastern, and how did it benefit you as you prepare for your career in the nonprofit sector?
Yes, so my journey to Eastern Michigan University was definitely not a traditional journey. I came in as a transfer student. I actually had begun my college journey in North Carolina, and it was a bit far from home, a little bit more expensive than I could afford. And I was a non-traditional student. I was an independent student. And so Eastern gave me a lot of support. They offered me a scholarship to transfer in, connected me with a few campus-based support programs, such as the MAGIC program that supports students who are formerly in foster care, and also the McNair Scholars Program that supported high-achieving students who wanted to go on to the doctoral program, and also the Honors College. And I was also a part of the forensics team. So I was very involved as a student, but I would certainly say that my journey was non-traditional in the way that I was a transfer student and I was an independent student. And so Eastern Michigan University definitely gave me the footing that I needed through those programs to not only succeed as someone who was high achieving, but also didn't necessarily have the traditional home supports that many other students had transitioning to college. But with the support of those programs, I was able to continue to matriculate and eventually, graduate. And so that really, those student organizations definitely birthed my desire to be in the nonprofit sector because of the work experience that I had working on campus with the SIP program, which is in the Office of the campus-based support programs, and also working with MAGIC when I got my footing as a student, supporting other students who were coming in. And I noticed through my work on campus as a student worker that there were a lot of students coming from Detroit who didn't necessarily have the supports that they needed. And additionally, a lot of the students didn't know, right? Even if the supports were on campus, they didn't know how to access them. And so I really became interested in the nonprofit sector when I was a part of it was a nonprofit collective, and we were able to grants to local communities. I can't remember the name of that program right now, but we were a part of a group of students who were able to read proposals and offer grants to local nonprofits that were doing a great work in the community. And so that really sparked my interest in being a part of being in the nonprofit sector, and then in addition, working for the Vision Office, where I was able to take students from various different backgrounds on trips to Detroit, alternative weekends. And they would come to Detroit, and we would visit the food pantries. We would visit the farms, the urban farming. And I would teach them about connect them to some of the social causes in Detroit, and really just seeing how many students were interested in learning about the infrastructure in Detroit, but then also feeling like this really visceral connection to understanding like, hey, there's more that I can be doing for my community. So being a part of those programs and serving in various different roles on campus, leadership roles, giving back to the community, granting grants, and informing folks about some of the disparities that exist within communities and our role as students at the time to be able to make a difference really sparked my interest. And while I was a student on campus, one very big peak of my journey was I organized a bike ride from Ypsilanti to Detroit. And I gathered a group of students who wanted to raise awareness on the youth homelessness crisis and raise funds. So they biked from Ypsi to Detroit. And that was very formative because these students all cared about a cause that was close to me in my city. And I think that was a really great turning point for me, because again, it was just reaffirming like, hey, here's this problem that we see, and we have the power to make a difference.
You know, what's impressive about that story is, one, I mean, obviously we go to universities for the education, to graduate, but let's take it a step beyond. What's impressive about your story, Courtney, is that you are giving back. As a student at Eastern, you gave back to the university, you gave back to the city that you love, that you're from, that we all love. I mean, Detroit is still, I mean, it's the city in the state of Michigan. And you're giving back, and you reached out and you helped engage other students. And I think that's phenomenal, because a lot of times we think of going to college, yes, go to class, yes, you listen to your professor, you do your projects, you do your homework, you take your exams. But there's another part of life on campus, whether or not you live on campus or not, and that is the community engagement piece. And that leads me to my question. By the way, congratulations for all that you're doing. A lot of students, when they graduate, some want to go into entrepreneurship, some want to go into the corporate space, but talk to those who don't know much about opportunities in the nonprofit space and why there's such an opportunity for them to make an impact there as well.
There's tons of opportunity in the nonprofit sector. I consider myself to be a social entrepreneur, as one who started a nonprofit organization, so a social impact org, to make a difference in the community. A lot of people don't know that it is so aligned right now for us to be able to do what we love to do, which, if you're interested in making a difference in your community and really solving some of these social issues and ills that are very prevalent, the nonprofit sector is always in need of fresh talent. There's so many different opportunities to support, whether it is in marketing, right? Nonprofits always need folks to update their social media, or fundraising and development. That's always a big piece. And the nonprofit sector really does need folks who are also entrepreneurial, because some of the biggest issues in our country, right, are met by and solved, right, by change makers in the nonprofit sector. So having that fresh perspective and having that go-getter attitude will really serve you well in the nonprofit sector. And we have so many organizations in our community, in the state of Michigan, just in out without not and also not in the state of Michigan, right, that's doing such great work. So I would certainly say if you're looking for an opportunity to really make a mark on the world and to do it in a way that's human-centered, right, and that's person-centered, rooted in very much rich values, then the nonprofit sector is definitely a great space. I consider myself to be someone who landed as a social entrepreneur by accident. I actually started my career in Detroit as an intern in government. And my boss at the time actually connected me to a local nonprofit. And so some of my mentors have been in the nonprofit sector. And it's just been a wonderful space for many folks that I know to learn and grow, and really, really, really to feel like they're doing amazing and good work.
And you talk about, as we begin to wrap up in about 2.5 minutes or so, you're talking about the network as well.
Yes.
And again, we talk about giving back. Talk briefly about how you're on the alumni board now at Eastern Michigan.
Yes.
How have you started to give back to your university? You graduated 9 years ago. How are you still engaged in university and helping others behind you?
Yes, there are so many different ways that I'm doing that. I serve on the Alumni Association board, where I am on the governance committee and really just helping to engage alumni and giving back to the university, and also ensuring, right, that our alumni base is front facing and that we're making our remark on the current students. Now, another way is through my work. There are a lot of students that come from Detroit. We have a pipeline of students who are within my organization that are now freshmen, right, at Eastern Michigan University. Any opportunity that I have to come on campus, whether it is to speak to a class, I've served as the keynote speaker for multicultural graduation and many other opportunities to really just make a difference. I'm there to do it because I believe that it is my responsibility as someone who really gained my footing at the university to be able to give back. More recently, I'm supporting the forensics team. They're coming up on their 50th anniversary, and I'm so proud to be an alumni of the forensics team. And so being able to help with that program is another way, right, that I'm giving back to the university that just gave so much to me. So.
Oh, yeah. You know, this is awesome. I mean, this is why I enjoy doing this. This is why it's important that we highlight our alums, because you guys and ladies are the ones that are representing us, and you're representing this institution. I say all the time that we have wonderful alumni across not just Metro Detroit, not across the state of Michigan, but across the entire country. And I got to tell you, I'm so proud of you and the work that you're doing. We wish you just much continued success in terms of all that you're doing, your social impact, the difference that you're making, not just in the city, but across the entire metropolitan area and across the university. And I want to say on behalf of me as another member of the alumni here at Eastern Michigan and also on staff teaching, we're proud of you and we thank you. We appreciate all that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Mark. I'm so honored to be here and to be an alumni of EMU.
And we'd like to thank Courtney Smith for joining us. And also, we want to wish you all a great day, a great week, a great month. And again, early congratulations. Congratulations to all the upcoming graduates. And we will check you out next time on EMU Today TV.